What's up guys, to another video of the behind the scenes of a horrible dream that we did for Halloween. As I said, it's very hard to say that. Welcome again. Right now we are carrying on our week of audio and we're gonna go on to a big issue of the film, which was music. Now I'm in no form of anything a musician. I'm still new to mixing and all of that and doing all the instrument stuff, but this film was done in Logic Pro 10. So let's begin. Now, just a quick disclaimer, same as the sound design, we did mix it in 5.1 to give more of a, surrounding feel and environmental perspective, but carrying on. Now, this was the first ever film that we didn't use any loops on a whiteboard, iDocumentary, all the things, we used a lot of loops. We never really used instruments. This time we used plugins such as retro synth, we used a piano, we used some cinema strings, we used a lot of things, but they were never loops, which I'm very happy about. Now, automatically, a long time ago, I thought of making a horror film a very big one, and I thought that the whole track should just be played with a really high-pitched piano, because as you guys know, it's ding, 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 and it can really give a really horror feel to it. But when I really try to use it, I just thought that it felt really cliche. Couldn't find a great tempo. I mean, it just sounded like it was just a piano just hitting around on keys. If you could find a really good, rhythm to go with or something like that, or just a nice sound and all that, that would be good, but we really couldn't find anything. So we didn't, of course, do the whole piano thing. We only had one section, actually, of a piano. Now, one thing that we did end up doing for some reason was, I thought from then on, that we'll use high-pitched strings and high-pitched piano. But we ended up actually not doing either of those. We did a little bit of a piano thing, but it was mainly a lot of sub-bass, which there's a plugin called sub-bass. So we used a lot of that, and it was from the soundscape. And this gave a really, basically made it feel sort of like a cinema film with that big bass coming in at you. And it was really helpful because we could also use 5.1, so we could change it from being all the way coming at you like that to coming at you like that to that to that, just everywhere. It could have been it was really helpful. So 5.1 helped a lot with the sub bass, and sub bass, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of bass is really cool. Now, a big thing about this film was we try to give it, just the same sort of instrument and feel the whole film throughout. As you've seen in a lot of film like Seven Samurai and all that, it has this constant, tone that comes up, especially in times of conflict when it's really big. Then it plays that, and then you hear it at the beginning, and it becomes sort of, it feels retro. It feels like a retro Jordan or something like that. So it comes at you, and it just feels really normal. And it just, starts feeling, it gives a retro vibe to it. So we wanted to do that, but we really couldn't find a good, beat to go with, a nice sound to go with. So we ended up changing the sound and the beat every single time it woke up in a dream. I mean, you can check. The only thing that stays the same was the sub bass. Then we had eerie strings. We had all these different things. It never stayed the same. We had a piano, and then we had strings. It was completely different. Now, as you may have noticed in the 2 jump scares, there was drums right before it. Now we try to add the drums to give this sort of a tone of everything is escalating and then give a jump scare, because we didn't want it to be sort of a quiet, then a jump scare. I thought that was just gonna not work out too well. It works out in basically every other film, but I knew it wasn't gonna work out for this one for reasons. So yeah, that's why we didn't do it for that one. But we did end up using it though for, the sort of I had a blank over there, but just so that we could, sort of give a warning for the jump scare. So if you rewatch the film, I mean, something gonna come. So yeah. Now, something special for the gearheads is that we didn't use a piano or anything. I am planning on getting a Kai MP5 piano. It's gonna be really nice because it has pads and all that. So that's gonna be really helpful for scoring films and for multiple other projects. So that's gonna be really nice. Although we didn't have a piano. Now, if you see what laptop we used the MacBook Pro 13-inch non-retina display. It's perfectly fine. Really like it still. And it doesn't have it has a great keyboard for typing, but there's a difference between typing and playing musical notes. It gives a very sticky vibe where you get through that one part and then it's a normal click. You can't get a sort of a click, you can't give that sort of a thing. So we ended up using a gaming keyboard, which we use the Steel Series keyboard. We won at a gaming convention, don't know the exact model, but it really works because it's a mechanical keyboard. So it basically just feels like you're pressing down on air with a little bit of resistance, which helps really well when you're playing musical notes. Now we use a lot of strings, the cinema strings and full strings and romantic strings, which that sounds very bad, but it was meant to give a horror vibe, which did work very well. We just layered it a little bit and gave a little bit of a, less volume so that it could work, and it gave a very cinematic vibe, in my opinion, of course. can have a different opinion, but that's what we basically were trying to achieve with that. We also used a lot, and I mean a lot. I cannot stress that enough. We used a lot of soundscapes. We just selected the soundscape, and then we just started playing like crazy. If you don't know what the soundscapes is if you go into Logic Pro 10, you go to instruments, then you go down to synths, then you go to soundscapes, I think, somewhere like that. There's just a ton of things where it gives you sort of an escalating feeling. I mean, you give things like wave space, which until now, we use that for the intro with for the Vendown film. So we use that a lot, and I mean a lot for this film. I mean, there's a lot of cool, you know, string feels. There's a lot of, this gives a sort of an environmental musical feel to it. So it doesn't feel like you're watching a horror. I mean, you know, proper horror film. It feels like, you know, you're watching more of a real life scenario take place, which of course it wasn't. And due to the color grading, it really didn't feel like it at all. But it was really helpful still to give more of a in the film sort of a vibe. So that has been Music Soundscapes 5.1, gaming keyboard, all that shit here. So hope you guys did like it. There's more behind the scenes to come. Music was pretty cool though to go over, and we will be going over these more in upcoming films. So keep checking out this channel. It's gonna be really cool. So definitely check out for that. But if you guys did like this, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And we have more behind the scenes videos coming this month. So